our next Absurdist production, Rhinoceros, by French playwright Eugene Ionesco, is in full rehearsal.
At Pointless Inc., we aim to shock our audiences by performing absurdist acts. This is a style that deliberately abandons the logical and rational ideas of traditional theatre to convey the meaninglessness of life itself.
This type of theatre formed shortly after World War II, when society started to question the meaning of life and human existence. Absurdist playwrights emerged and attempted to convince the audience that life is meaningless, dull, and totally absurd.
Let's take a look at what the cast and crew are doing at Pointless Inc. to prepare for the production.
Kindly allow me to speak, gentlemen. I'm addressing you in particular. You see, you have got away from the problem which instigated the debate. Thus, on 2 occasions, you may have seen one rhinoceros bearing a single horn. Or again, you may have seen one rhinoceros with one horn, and then another also with a single horn. Or again, an initial rhinoceros with 2 horns, followed by a second with 2 horns. If on the first occasion, a single rhinoceros with 1 horn, and then another rhinoceros with 1 horn, that wouldn't be conclusive either. Hi, I'm Dragbottom, and I just displayed a section of the script that I'm rehearsing. This snippet is from Act 1, when the Logician is trying to settle an argument between Berenger and Jean about how many rhinoceroses were seen. Later on, the number of rhinoceroses increases as more and more of the characters conform to this transformation. Ionesco, in this play, shows the power of conformity, as many of the characters become attracted to the rhino's strength and perceived beauty. My character, the Logician, attempts to use logic to explain the meaning of life. All his attempts fail, which strengthens Ionesco's view that life is too complicated to explain. When rehearsing, I had to keep in mind both my character's aim, which was to convince the other characters of his logic, and my aim as an actor. My aims as an absurdist actor are to shock and show my audience humanity in a ridiculing light. My main aim, however, is to challenge my audience and try and make sense of nonsense. To do this, I had to think about numerous absurdist acting techniques. In absurdist plays, there is no logical plot and time is non-linear. So during the process of becoming my character, instead of asking myself what has happened in the past or what will happen next, which I would have asked in more traditional types of theatre, I had to ask myself, what is happening now? Verbal nonsense is part of the spectacle in absurdist acts. Language is just used to create sound and noise. Hence, I spoke with variety in my tone, even when the script made very little sense. I incorporated pauses into my performance. This technique in absurdist plays helps to distance the audience and strengthens the view that human thought is meaningless. Movement is impulsive in absurdist theatre, and there is usually no connection between the script and the character's actions. Therefore, I incorporated random movements into my performance, which didn't relate to my thought process, such as the number of fingers I held up. This technique is used to shock the audience and make them feel very uncomfortable.
You see what comes with drinking? You no longer have control of your movements, you have no strength left in your hands. You're besotted and fagged out, my friend. You're digging your grave, and quite frankly, you're destroying yourself, very slowly at that. And yes, I am certainly strong, but I'm strong for several reasons. 2 reasons, in fact. Reason number 1, I'm physically and naturally strong. Reason number 2, I have moral strength. And also, I'm not riddled by alcohol, as you are, Berenger. I'm sorry to say, I do not wish to offend you, but I feel I must tell you that it is alcohol which weighs so heavy on you. Hello there, fellow absurdists. I'm the actor you all know and love, Silvia Slythervain. Now, the piece I just performed was extracted from Act 1, Scene 3 of Eugene Ionesco's Rhinoceros, where I played the character of Jean. This particular segment communicates the theme of the strength of the individual in the script. This was ironic, however, because originally Jean is portrayed as the supposedly strong, willful and responsible character of the play. In writing's concluding scenes, however, they show how Jean was in fact one of the many that which succumbed to the Rhinoceros movement, while Berenger was in fact the character that prevailed and demonstrated real strength, the strength of not conforming and standing strong, even if that meant standing alone. This was depicted at the end of the play when he announces, "I will not capitulate." Jean epitomizes the Nietzschean conception of the Superman who is above morality. His arrogance and unspoken disdain for the common man is represented through his constant badgering of Berenger and his drinking problem. He also believes in the strength of his will and rationalist intellect. Jean's transformation at the end of the play further reinforces Ionesco's idea that strength is meaningless if the individual doesn't use it to their advantage or for justified purposes. Therefore, Jean's strength, as such, didn't overcome the conformity he was faced with at the end, and therefore his strength of character that he claimed to possess in the piece I performed was meaningless. Jean epitomizes the Nietzschean conception of the Superman who was above morality. His arrogance and unspoken disdain for the common man is represented through his constant badgering of Berenger and his drinking problem. He also believes in the strength of his will and rationalist intellect. I achieved this through the portrayal of several techniques key to absurdist acting. Absurdist characters are usually one-dimensional, and that was certainly the case with my character, Jean. Therefore, in my act, I included moments where I portrayed elements of Jean's character like arrogant facial expressions and sarcastic gestures. Since verbal nonsense is a spectacle in absurdist theatre, language is used to create sound and noise, such as stomping, dragging feet, and by even producing lengthened sighs in my performance. Therefore, I spoke with a variety of pitches in my tone of voice.
My name is Millie Mackintosh, and I'm the publicist of Pointless Inc.'s production, Rhinoceros. My main aim as a publicist was to get the word out and engage the public and to advertise the show. The types of products I produced were a poster, tickets, program, special invites, and a radio segment. Throughout the play, the absurdist play, Rhinoceros, people conform to the way of society and undergo a transformation which turned them into rhinoceroses. This demonstrates the power of conformity and the way people tend to follow the ways of society, even when people are doing absurd things like turning into rhinoceroses. Overall, the play Rhinoceros symbolises the very essence of human nature. It shows how sheep-like our society has become. This play explores the themes including narcissism, conformity and culture, and playing around with time, logic, language and the meanings of life. I have made a journal of the things that I did. This is where I kept a record of all the things I did and experimented with colours, designs that related to the play and the themes I explored. I incorporated the themes into my design. The image of Rhinoceros on the poster and ticket show the power of conformity and relate to the way people transformed into the ways of fashionism during the Second World War. Experimented with different colours. The colours of the rhinoceros are green and grey. Green conveys strong emotion, and it is a cloudy and moody colour. White and grey are the main colours in my design colour scheme because life isn't always black and white. It's too absurd to explain. I also chose to use the colour red because red attracts attention and it relates to the violent behaviours that the rhinoceros show in the play. Red is also a powerful colour. This can also relate to the power and dangerous nature of conformity. I also experimented with different fonts such as bold fonts, cursive lettering, fancy and grunge fonts. On the poster I used a range of fonts from curly to retro and bold. I chose a range of fonts to show how absurd theatre demonstrates that life is too complicated and it has too many choices. As a publicist, I have reflected the themes of Rhinoceros. I use images and symbols to communicate the director's intentions. I also researched absurd images and included these pictures in my final design. Overall, I discovered that rhinos are a savage beast. I incorporated this knowledge into my final design as I use pictures of angry rhinoceroses.